Hello YouTube and welcome to my tutorial on how to be an effective Titan killer without actually being in a Titan. Let's start with weapons. The most ideal weapon that you can use to defeat a Titan that you're on the back of is the LMG Spitfire with the Slammer modification. The Slammer modification increases damage you do to a Titan by a significant amount when on its back. So that's the thing to note when you're choosing your weapon. I'm using the pistol in this video. It works for killing Titans, but it's not the most ideal. I'd also advise to avoid things like sniper rifles, since it has a slow reload time, slow fire rate. It just won't do an insane amount of damage to the Titan. Now for anti-Titan weapons, I'd advise either the mag launcher or the charge rifle. Mag launcher allows you to get some very nice weird shots off because the grenade will actually attach to the Titan it falls near. If it's a good distance away, it won't attach, but generally it's not too hard to get the grenade near the Titan. Another weapon you might want to use is the charge rifle, which does a ridiculous amount of damage to the Titan, but the charge rate is slow, and the moment it gets charged, it'll discharge the shot, and if you're not lined up with the Titan, it'll miss. But it allows you to get a very nice long distance shot off, so that's the thing to note when you're choosing those weapons. Now, for your tactical abilities, I'd advise either Cloak or Stim. Both have its perks and downsides. Cloak allows you to approach a Titan from the front and jump straight onto it, basically. Whereas Stim, you can't go straight from the front because it's kind of dangerous. Even Cloak, it's really dangerous because you could get stepped on. But if you needed to with Cloak, you could get onto the back of the Titan from the front. With Stim, you can close the gap between the Titan, but I'd advise either going from the side or the back, or you're probably going to get shot down by the Titan. Now, for ordnances, I'd advise satchel charges. Those are really good for taking down a Titan, and I'll explain why in a little. And in fact, I do this in the video. I show why satchel charges are pretty good at some point. Now, for the tier 1 kits, I'd advise either the power cell or the stealth kit. Power cell allows your stim and basically any tactical ability to charge a lot faster. And stealth kit makes your footsteps silent and no jetpack stream. So if you're cloaked and you're trying to jump on an enemy Titan with your jetpack, they actually won't see the jetpack stream. So that's really ideal if you're really trying to approach from the front. But like I said before, don't get stepped on. Now, for the tier 2s, I'd advise either Warfall Transmitter or Dead Man's Trigger. Those are really good items in certain situations. For Warfall Transmitter, let's cover Titanfall kills. Whenever you call down a Titan, if there's an enemy Titan below your drop point, it'll actually crush the enemy Titan. So Warfall Transmitter will reduce the time it takes for it to land. So that's really good if you're trying to get Titan drops. So that's a thing to note. Now for Dead Man's Trigger, if you're using satchel charges, I would highly advise these because if you die, it'll blow up your satchel charges. And I've been in some situations where I've set 2 satchel charges on an enemy Titan, and I've died. So they would have blown up if I had Dead Man's Trigger going on there. Now, how to approach a Titan. With Cloak, you can approach from essentially any side, and the Titan really won't see you, especially if you have Stealth Kit on. But, like I said before, going from the front really isn't safe, but it's definitely doable with Cloak. With Stim, I'd advise, like I said before, going in from the side or the back. It allows you to close the gaps a lot faster because it greatly increases your movement speed. So that's something to take into account. Now, let's talk about things you kind of have to watch out for with Titans that will probably kill you really quickly. One thing is electrical cloud dodging. If you ever see a buildup of basically a dark cloud and like electricity flying all over the place, I'd advise to dismount the Titan ASAP, because you're going to die really quickly with the electrical clouds. They're pretty dangerous. Now, I mean, on occasions you'll actually see a Titan that's discharging electricity. That doesn't always mean it's electrical cloud, so keep that in mind. I've, on some occasions, actually have jumped off a Titan because I thought there was an electrical cloud coming, but it's just electrical sparks coming from the Titan. So pay attention to that. Another thing you want to avoid when you're on an enemy Titan is don't stay on it if all of a sudden the cockpit opens and the Titan stops. That means the pilot has probably gotten out and is probably getting ready to shoot you. Now, there are some situations where you'll actually get on the Titan and the cockpit's open already. That's probably because it's an automatic Titan at the time. You can actually look at the Titan before you jump on it, and it'll say if the pilot's name is on it, that means the pilot's in it. But if it says auto on it, that means the Titan's in auto mode and there's no pilot in it, so the cockpit will be open, so you don't have to worry too much about the pilot coming to shoot you. Just worry about anyone else around there that might shoot you. Moving on, let's see. Now, if you ever hear kind of like a launch sound, well, if you hear the launch sound, you'd probably already be dead. But if you hear like a charging up and the Titan's glowing, I would advise to get the hell away from the Titan, because it's about to eject the pilot and cause a nuclear kind of explosion. Small nuclear explosion around the area, which will kill you instantly. So that's a thing to pay attention to when you're on the Titan, or even near it for that matter. Now, for shooting down Titans, there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can use your anti-Titan weapon, as per usual, or you can rodeo the Titan by jumping on top of it. You'll jump on top of it, and your pilot will actually open up a panel. If for whatever reason you're not able to open up the panel, you're probably not on an enemy Titan. Now, when you open up the panel, you can start shooting into it. So, when you shoot into it, it actually ignores the shield. It just goes straight for the armor. So that's a thing to note when you're shooting down an enemy Titan, is you'll go straight for the armor. Now, you can also lay 2 satchel charges on the Titan. Well, actually, if you have infinite satchel charges, I suppose you can put on as many as you want, but we're just going to assume for the most part you only have 2. When you set them on there, the 2 satchel charges, when detonated, will go through the enemy shield, so keep that in mind. The shield will absorb a good amount of the blast. If they have shield, you'll usually take away all the shield and maybe a little bit of armor, but if they have no shield, it'll chunk it for about half of its armor. So if the enemy has no shield and it's fairly low health, drop 2 satchel charges, blow them, preferably when you're not on the Titan, because that'll kill you. And when you blow them, the Titan's pretty much done after that. I think that covers everything I wanted to cover in this video. I hope this was an informative video, and I'm gonna leave the video running for the rest of the duration, but that covers everything I wanted to cover, so thank you all for watching.
IMC dropship has arrived. Take it out before it gets away.
Thank you all for watching the video. If you liked it, please press like. Also, leave a comment saying what you liked or disliked about the video. You can share it on social media sites by going to share and clicking on the different social media buttons, depending on what you have. And if you want to support me financially, you can actually use this link in the description, which will take you to Amazon.com. So if you're looking to make purchases, go through this link if you want to make some purchases off of Amazon. That'll support me financially. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all later.